Good morning and welcome to Coffee Chat with David and Kylie Knight.
Hey, so glad you're with us today. Yesterday is Friday, February 19th, 2021.
Woo!
Here we are for another Friday. Yay!
Absolutely, and we're excited. We have an amazing guest. I know we say that every
yeah.
week, but this week, truly, he's phenomenal. You guys are going to love him.
Yes, absolutely.
But hey, good morning, Josh Kohler.
Hi, Josh.
Always awesome with the hashtags. Yeah, be sure to use hashtag Hello Nights and hashtag Cup of Awesome. Let people know you're watching, hanging out with us.
Exactly.
On this chilly morning. It is.
And you want others to hear our special guest today, for sure.
Goodness.
So make sure you invite people. It's so good, guys.
Yeah. So be sure to like and share.
Yeah.
Because sharing is caring.
Yeah, for those up north, Josh, I know you'll appreciate this. We're absolutely up to, 27 degrees? Is that what I saw right now?
Wow. Nice.
27.
Heat wave.
We are beyond excited.
There's sun out today, which is nice.
I know, it's weird.
Goodness.
So I think by Sunday we might hit above freezing for a little while and be thawing things out.
Yeah.
It's been a rough week.
If you haven't seen the news, Texas has just been hammered with cold.
Yeah, keep praying for Texas. There's still a lot of people who don't have water, electricity. I think electricity is pretty well fixed in most places. It's just the water pipes bursting. Even neighbors a few buildings up are without water. So we had a friend of ours lives in one of those buildings, and she was showing us video of the water going everywhere. So she came over to our place. Like, if you need anything, you need a hot shower, come over. But she came and got a jug full of water yesterday. Going on back. So
yeah. Josh Kohler says Illinois is at 12 degrees. So.
Okay, so you've gone up a little bit too, I think,
exactly.
from last week. Congratulations. Wow.
And Mike Campbell says golf now.
Golf
now? There's still snow out there.
You're going to try and golf around some, you hear the sand pits and the water. You got to get around the ice and the snow bundles, I guess.
Well, actually, it might be better, golfing with the water hazards because they'd be frozen over.
That's
so
true.
The ball would just slide across.
There you go. Hole in one.
Exactly. Makes it nice and easy.
If you want to, go for it.
Hey. My dad would. My dad loves to golf, and he will go out anytime. He doesn't care. He's crazy about that.
Whew.
I never picked that up. Josh Kohler says we'll be getting out our shorts next week when it hits the 30s.
Oof.
Woo!
No, not down here. We're not.
Mike Campbell says use orange balls for golfing. That's a smart move, actually. I like that. Makes it a whole different game, though.
Yes. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
But
anyway, so we have been hard at work here, doing a lot of stuff for the business and for the ministry, trying to stay warm as best we could. We have been hugely grateful to not have had any power loss or water loss.
Absolutely. So blessed.
Don't know how that happened, but we're thankful
I know, right?
Yes.
And we booked a couple of shows.
So
it's been a good week.
It is a good week.
Finally.
Any week
as far as that, anytime you book, especially during the pandemic.
Yeah. But, we are, I just wanted to say this, I actually had a video, but I didn't get it loaded in quickly enough. We are, as you guys know, we are Coffee Chat, and we've been looking for some sponsors.
Yes.
And Kofi, who produces the amazing coffee that changed Kylie's life, has decided to sponsor us. And so we just want to let you guys know Kofi is available, and they have the best coffee available. And
if you want some, contact us and we can hook you up.
We'll hook you up. And their Rwandan bean is just amazing. So
seriously, it is the best coffee I've ever tasted.
Yeah.
We've tried a lot of coffee, and this is the best.
We have.
So we're telling him he needs to expand greatly.
Yep.
He's still a tiny little business right now, but as he expands, hopefully soon, we can get that incredible coffee out to more people.
Yeah. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Well, shall we jump into it? Because
Absolutely.
We've got a lot of questions for our guest today.
I know. All right, let's do this.
Okay, so we met this gentleman many years ago, and just a really big heart on this guy. Super smart, super talented, he's a Superman. I'll put it that way.
Pretty much, he is. You're right.
You guys are going to love him, and so we hope you will welcome our friend
one
and
of
now
our
yours,
favorites.
One of our very favorites, Mr. Mike Tirone.
Yes.
Hello, my friend.
Hey. Hey, guys.
Yay. Oh, look at that
Coffee
mug.
mug in honor of you guys.
Oh, very nice.
Service.
We will certainly be talking about that. Yes.
Yes. How we
well,
met.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, what a week it was, Lots of prayers for Texas.
Exactly.
with power, I'm sure everyone. I agree with you. It's been a crazy, crazy week for those in the North Texas area. All of Texas.
Yeah.
Did you survive okay?
Yeah, we made it. We were huddled up around our fireplace behind me.
Oh, nice.
And we didn't have heat too much, for most of the time, but we had water and the pipes didn't burst. So hey, it was a good week.
There you go. Take it where you can get it.
I know, it's hard to believe they had snow all the way down south as far as almost the border, I think.
Yeah, they did it on the border, didn't they?
I think they did.
Crazy. Well, hey, we appreciate your time. We know you're a busy man, so we want to jump right into this because we got a ton of stuff for you.
Absolutely. So we want to start with our favorite question. So tell us your faith story. How did you come to know Jesus?
Oh, I love that. Like many people, their faith journey sort of is a process, and that was definitely mine. As a young boy, I grew up in a church and had a loving family that kept us in church, but I never really understood what grace was, and really never had a personal encounter with Jesus. I knew about Jesus. I knew about the things of what Jesus and what the Lord, we knew about him, but never really knew him. So grew up in a church. Then as soon as I could get sort of out of school and working, I ran as far from God as you could possibly run. I was your typical prodigal child that I just wanted to be me, and I wanted to go. I didn't just want to believe it because my parents told me that. I had to go and search on my own. And man, so then as time went on, I just made a wreck of my life. So from the outside, it looked really great. I was doing well. I was working with NBC Universal and sort of climbed the ladder of that, and was doing well. But things were a mess overall with my marriage, with my family, with my kids, and I knew something was broken. And I knew about the things of God because I grew up in that. But it wasn't until 2005 when I had a personal encounter with the Lord that He made Himself very real. I was producing an interview with the Reverend Billy Graham at the time. It was in Flushing, New York, and it ended up 2005. It was his last crusade that he did.
Oh my
goodness!
goodness!
And I had the privilege of being the producer to set up the interview after behind the tent, and so I was putting that together. And actually, what happened was after he did his crusade and then came and sat down, he walked past me. And I was like I said, I was putting it together, so I was in work mode. But something hit me. He never said anything to me. Nobody said anything to me. But as he walked right by me, I just had this feeling, and this is what it was. Mike, you are not right with God. That was what the feeling was. And so the Spirit just worked on me during that time, and I basically said in my mind, Lord, I know that I'm a mess, I'm broken. I was even thinking about some of the things I was about to do even after that interview, and it wasn't pretty. And I sort of just said in my mind, Lord, I don't know where to start, but please help me. And that was when I had a personal encounter with Jesus. He immediately answered that prayer. I was working there for 12 years at the time. And I lost that job. It was part of what God was doing. He first broke me. And then he opened up a door. And so it's a long story, but so 2005 is when I met Jesus. I knew Jesus and heard about Jesus, but I had a personal encounter with him. And now it's been that process now for, where are we, 2021? So about 16 years.
Wow. That's phenomenal.
Wow. I just love how God works in such incredible ways. That was incredible.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you guys, you know this too, right? We, with God, right, you could resist him and fight him. And that's what I was doing at the time. I was like in the ocean, and he's pulling me ashore, and I'm throwing my arms up. But I'll tell you, and you guys know that this is true too. that it's God's kindness that leads us to repentance. And he was very kind to me, and I thought that I would get judgment at the time, but grace came. Grace
Ah,
came. And so that was really cool. And that's what led me to Dallas and all kinds of fun things. And I've been on the God ride ever since.
yes.
The God
The
ride. I
God
love
ride.
that. I love
Woo!
that.
What a ride it is.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, now you alluded to this. You have had quite the varied career path. As you mentioned, you were a senior producer for NBC Universal. I'm kind of curious, how did you because we are producing a show, and I'm kind of curious, how did you end up there? And do you have? I mean, obviously, I would imagine the Billy Graham story is probably your favorite story from that time.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have another favorite story from that time that you'd like to share with us?
Well, yeah, I think, I was a journalism guy and actually ran a television club at my college. And my professor went to Baghdad during the Gulf War.
Mhm.
And I was just fascinated by just the whole news and coverage. And then he ended up working at CNBC at the time. They had sort of a CNBC primetime. The daytime would be the stocks, and then in the evening they had all these primetime shows. And he opened through that relationship. The door opened where I was able to work, and I was on a night shift. And then really, even though I wasn't walking with God, it's fun to look back. God opened so many doors for me then, and just got to meet so many people. I think early on, I think 97 or 1990, this is like mid 90s. I had just did a wing it call to try to get an interview with a former president, and that happened. It was just a miracle that the door opened, and so that sort of it gave me a lot of favor. And then opened up more doors, and it just kept going up. But I will tell you, as I was climbing the ladder, and it looked very successful, my personal life was going in the opposite direction. It was a very cool time, but it was also, I don't know what would have happened if God didn't step in,
Sure.
in 2005. Yeah.
Right.
He knows his timing.
Yes, he does.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. So then, Mike, we had the privilege and honor to meet you at Apartment Life, which is an apartment ministry. They place cares teams, and you were a vibrant part of the leadership there. So what was it that drew you to working with that organization?
Well, Apartment Life gives out the best gifts.
They do. They really do.
They really do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Stan Dobbs and that group. That was at the time I was working for a Christian radio station, KCBI, for many years.
Okay.
And God just I met Stan, and we had a lunch at Papado one time. He told me about what their mission is. Right? Hey, we want to bring the light into apartments, and we want to, the whole idea of what you guys did as a cares team. And I just loved it. I love the mission part of it, of being intentional about building relationships, very relational. I just
Very.
loved that. And so God opened that door, and that was a great time. And there are so many amazing people, as you guys know. I'm not going to get into making the list because you'll forget somebody.
I know, right?
Way too many of them.
Yeah, but I will mention a few. I mean, you just have to. So Stan Dobbs, of course, who started that, and my buddy Lindsay Holsinger, and who I got to work with. She's amazing, and there's so many. But I will just tell you that is a great ministry. It's very intentional. You guys got to see the power of that with your own eyes. And hey, at the end of the day, I like to share the gospel, because the gospel is the good news, right?
Yes.
And people need to hear the good news, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have the good news, and any way that you can share the good news is good, right?
Yes.
So that's what I love about Apartment Life.
So good. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean,
probably need to explain for those who don't know what Apartment Life is. Right?
Yeah, I mean, Apartment Life is a phenomenal organization. They place teams that they used to call cares teams.
They're not anymore.
Yeah. Oh, they're not? Okay.
No, they've changed their terminology.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
to us, they're still cares teams.
They're always cares teams. Yeah, exactly.
Me too. Yep.
But into apartment communities, and those people get to put on the events for the community, and kind of build community, welcome
people's doors.
Just be the hands and feet of Jesus, and share the gospel.
Yeah, that was my favorite
life.
part. Is doing those welcome visits. I think was probably one of my favorites, because you knock on their door, they're surprised, like, who is it there? You get to say who you are and say, we're the fun people. We put on the events and we're here to help you. You know, if you're new to the area, we would tell them, like, if you need help finding the local hairstylist, if a grocery store, if you're looking for a great restaurant, whether your favorite is, or if you're looking for a church in the area, we're happy to help you. And right there, it's what we call a faith flag. And it's just opening the door and letting people know that you're a Christ follower. And it can start a whole conversation right there at their doorstep. So I just love it.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a brilliant thing. I think every Christian, we've been talking about this here. You know, we always talk about, like, you know, the international mission trips, which are good and important, right?
Yes.
You know, where you go for 7 days to Mexico or whatever.
Yeah.
And but I think, you know, missions needs to start right where you are, and I think
with your neighbors.
With your neighbors, and Apartment Life does an amazing job of teaching people just how to be intentional, how to be missional, how to be loving and caring, which we need to be doing as Christ followers anyway.
It is.
Absolutely.
And I think if you can't do it with your own neighbors, you can't really do it beyond that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, and it's the same thing as our relationship with God. Early on, it was a relationship of legality. Here's what you can and can't do with God. And then it became a relationship of love, right? And that's when I got grace. That's when I understood what the gospel was, you know, and that is the same thing that I think Apartment Life tries to be and do. Hey, let me build a relationship with you first, so that I can earn the right to share good news with you. And it's important to do both, though. You don't just want to focus completely on building a relationship. You still have to share. You know, the word says, always be prepared to give an answer for the hope that's in you. And the hope is good news. It's the forgiveness of sins, right? And we need to share that. And I think that's what's really good about Apartment Life, as long as both are being done.
Absolutely.
Right.
Great way to put it.
Yeah.
Well, and you've kind of continued this because you've gone on to be part of a new organization called Operation Care International. And I would love for you to be able to tell our audience more about who they are and what they do.
Sure. Well, on my faith journey, I met Susie Jennings. Susie is a mighty widow here in Dallas who, through tragedy, lost her husband through suicide. And she was a widow who had moved here from the Philippines, and she was a nurse. And in her season of brokenness, she just called out to God and said, Lord, you know, what do you want me to do? She happened to be coming home from church, driving by the homeless in downtown Dallas. And God told her, hey, look to your left. And I want you to start to bring blankets to those people. And she immediately went back to work. She was a nurse, and asked the doctors, hey, could you guys give me $5 for to buy some blankets? And the very next day, she brought blankets to the homeless, and it started this ministry, which is now Operation Care International. And for those who don't know what it is now, every Christmas, they take over the Dallas Convention Center, 500,000 square feet of love, and they love on the homeless. So tens of thousands of people come, homeless, impoverished, those in poverty, come through. They hear the gospel first, then they get blankets, they get coats, they get haircuts, they get medical supplies, and they get loved on all through the day. So I when I was the general manager of KCBI at the time, I kept hearing about, hey, Mike, you got to go down and see what Susie and Operation Care International are doing in downtown Dallas. When I finally went out there, my jaw dropped, because I said, hey, this is what it looks like to be the feet and the hands of Jesus, to be the body, right?
Exactly.
To love on the lost. So I got hooked immediately. We remained friends for many years. And then something came along that's part of Operation Care. Something came along called One Day 2020, where we are going to replicate what's done in Dallas all over the world. So in other words, we are going to do it in all 50 states, what's done in the Dallas Convention Center, and then as many countries as possible. So the first year that when this was coming to be, Susie and I were on the phone, and I happened to be in South Carolina, and we were just talking, and God spoke to her and said, it's Mike. Mike's the one to lead this. And when she told me that, I sort of laughed at the time. We had just moved. It wasn't on my horizon, but that's why I say the God ride. But my house sold in 24 hours. We were back in McKinney, Texas, and we've been running hard ever since. So just real quick, the first year of One Day 2020, and it's actually going to go on for years. The vision is to reach all 50 states, all 239 countries, and do this huge event all over the world. And then in the evening, have an evangelistic celebration. So show the good news all day, all around the world, and then share the good news in the evening. That's the idea of what it is. So we did it this year in the pandemic with the chaos. The city of Dallas shut us down 9 days before the event was to take place. And we had to shift. We went to Waters Creek in Allen, Texas, for those who know. And we had to do it there. We had great speakers, Kevin Sorbo, the actor, God's Not Dead, Kyle Martin from Time to Revive, Nikki Cruz, for those who don't know Nikki, but great speakers. And we had, listen to this, 46 countries signed on and were a part of it. And then we had 23 states during a pandemic. So don't let anybody tell you that ministry needs to stop just because there's a pandemic. No.
Making it happen. That's amazing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love the distinction.
So that's year one.
Yeah, that's year one. And you've only just started. Yes. I love that.
We need you guys next year.
Hey.
The
Sign
vision is, by the way, the vision is in 2022, we want to be in the American Airlines Arena, and we've already been speaking with the Reverend Franklin Graham to be the one who presents the gospel. He was actually going to come this year, but then the pandemic election. But that's going to be the culmination where all 50 states and all these countries do it. Hey, go to opcare.org if you get a chance. You could see the videos that came in from Italy, Brazil, China, all throughout the United States. We had a church in New York, 40,000 member church in New York, the Christian Cultural Center. They were a part of it. So God is moving, and we have a big celebration in the evening, and we need your show because you know what? So let's just plan on that.
Okay.
Just book it here.
I love it. Okay. You guys heard it. All right. Hey, that's 3 this week. All right.
We booked another one. Celebrate. We would be so honored to be
we would
part
be
of
honored.
that.
That would be a blast.
Woo! Something else with Mike Tyrone. I love it.
It's all good.
Anywhere Mike goes, we'll go.
That's right. We will follow you to the end of the earth, my friend.
Fantastic. And I love that distinction between showing the gospel and then sharing the gospel.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
That is so important. So important. I love that you guys are doing that.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Unbelievers need to see that, Kylie. You're right. You can't just come and share truth, right?
Right.
They need to see that you care. They need to see that you're meeting somebody's needs, and they need to. And I think unbelievers, when they see believers, right, act like a believer, then they're intrigued and they want to. They're attracted, and then you have earned the right. To share the good news. By the way, we have good news. We should be really excited to share.
Yes.
We have hope. We have a living hope, not just a hope. And we have good news. And we can set people free. And we need to be excited to share. That's why I always say to people, I'll ask you guys, why do they call the gospel good news?
Because that's what it is.
Yes, exactly. It's that simple. Yes.
It's that simple. It is the best news.
It is the best news.
Yes,
well, and you know, it's funny because a few years ago, we just talked about this last week with another friend of ours. We saw Jeff Allen, who's a comedian, talking on TBN. I don't remember what show it was, but he was talking on some show, and they were talking about comedy in the church. And you know, the way it ended up is the host and Jeff both said, "Look, we have the keys to the kingdom. We should be the happiest people in the entire world, and we should want to share that with as many people as possible." And so, I think it's great that you guys are doing that. I love that you are being the hands and feet. You are sharing the word. I can't give enough thumbs up for that. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So I also want to talk about another event that you helped coordinate recently called the Banquet of Love, which I love the name. Tell us what that is all about.
Well, this one is really fun because I was going to talk to the volunteers last Saturday. This is where we had this event, and I was praying to God, and I said, God, what can I tell everybody about this event? I was talking to him in the car driving over. It was done in a former strip club, okay, in downtown Dallas.
Yeah.
And what we did is we invited the homeless to come on Valentine's to have a beautiful Valentine's dinner. We got all of our supplies from our warehouse. So we got everyone got brand new shoes. We gave them coats, socks, blankets. We had a meal. We partnered with some other ministries, Wade Aaron with Time to Revive, and also with Christ's Reward and Squid Fort. We got together, and what we wanted to do is bus people. So we got buses, went into the streets where the people were, picked them up, and brought them to the former strip club, right? I mean, on Valentine's.
I
So
love it.
this is such a beautiful picture of redemption. And so what I loved about this event is that God just opened up all the doors. I called Bruce Butler. Bruce Butler is the chairman of the Union Gospel Mission in Dallas, and we said, "Hey, Bruce, we want to bring the homeless to a beautiful Valentine's dinner, share the gospel, and love on them for the afternoon." I called him maybe Friday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Susie Jennings and I called him. He said, "Okay." He said, "Come pick us up, 150 of the homeless." He said, "Just come, pull your bus up front. We'll let them come out, and you guys can bus them to the former strip club, let them have a Valentine's dinner, and then bus them back." Number one, that's a miracle because we're living in the area of a pandemic, and there's so many restrictions and this. So all of these guys came over, and we had a mobile baptism truck there. That's another fun part. And they got to hear the gospel. They got food. They got coats. They got blankets. They got brand new shoes. And then they got to hear the good news, and 6 of them on that day said yes. Now this is amazing because it was so cold.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm talking about it. Those who were in Dallas this week know how cold it was, right?
Yes.
We had a mobile baptism truck out, and 6 of them said, "I don't care how cold it is. I want Jesus, and I want Jesus right now." So what we did, watch this, in a strip club, former strip club in downtown Dallas, the homeless walked out, climbed into a mobile baptism truck, right? Got into the water and gave their life to Jesus. And when I was talking to God about this, he said, Mike, I love everything about this." He told me that. That was what he said. He said, "Mike, I love it because it's a story of redemption." And I just, anyone that's I was thinking that even the people that were in that club in the years before, the anointing on that place was so powerful, guys, that people were going to be changed. God was going to do things in the dancers' lives, in the people who were going to those clubs who were in bondage, anything associated to it. I believe that the Spirit of God is working on because of how beautiful. So, by the way, we're going to do it again and again and again. So we're going to do one in Easter. So it's going to be fun. And we want to thank the owners of this club. It's called ESV. They just said, "Hey, here are the keys. You can use this former strip club for God's glory." And so every piece of this puzzle just came together like that. And that's what God loves, when we just go, "Hey, I'm willing to turn left. I'm willing to turn right. I'll pivot. Let's take our calendars, especially during this pandemic season, right? And just put them on fire." And that's what I love about the Banquet of Love. You can see what God can do if we would be quick just to turn left, turn right, drop, because it took a lot of things. I mean, we put it together in a week or 2.
Wow. That's incredible that you put it together
It
that
really
fast.
is. Well, it was funny because I was follow you on Facebook, and I was watching you guys kind of as you started talking about it, and I saw the snow coming in, and I saw and I'm like, how are they going to pull this off? But you guys did it.
Yes, God did it.
God did it. That's true.
Yeah, God did it. And even that day, by the way, one more miracle. The One Day 2020 event was aired. There was a special that aired on the Trinity Broadcasting Network that night, and it followed like a month or 2 before One Day 2020 came to be. It was following Susie. It was following our ministry, watching how this was going to come to be. And there was this team in Missouri that watched it. And they got so excited about it that they called us and they said, "Hey, we're coming to Dallas. We want to be a part of this." So when the Banquet of Love came to be, we told the team in Missouri, we said, "Hey guys, why don't you come early so that you could volunteer, be part of Banquet of Love. So they drove through that terrible
Oh my goodness.
storm
What?
that all of us saw. They brought 25 of their volunteers, and so we had 25 volunteers from Missouri that we never met before that just
Wow.
showed up and served, loved,
Oh,
and so I'm just telling you, it's so much fun when God's in it. If you want to
Yes.
know if God's in it, you don't have to do anything.
right.
You just sort of watch. That's how you know he's in. He's just the
Yeah,
door opens here, the door opens there,
for sure.
and that's what we got to experience. By the way, as I'm getting older, I'm 50 now. I don't want to work on things. I don't want to be a part of things that I gotta strive and put my own effort into it. I want to be about eternal things, and I want to be where God is, and that's why, by the way, the Banquet of Love was truly what God loves, because a former strip club where the homeless was invited on
Mm-hmm.
Valentine's to show his love. That's God's heart.
It
That
is.
is where his heart is. And we just got to be more a part of that. We're trying to build our own stuff. We just got to be about his heart.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
agree.
Well, and I love that piece of using the former strip club and redeeming it for God's purpose. I mean, that's we talk about this constantly. We are agents of restoration here in this world, right?
Yes.
And we need to be reclaiming these things for His glory and not being afraid of them, not being you know hands off. I mean, that we are meant to be hands and feet and in the mud and
Like
in the
we've
muck
talked
and
about.
doing what we can.
Absolutely.
So, goodness, I love that.
So,
Yeah.
we do follow you, Mike, and we saw you talk about it, that you made a new friend named Johnny. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, absolutely. So he was at the Banquet of Love, and I was trying to convince Johnny. First, I heard his story, and man, when you meet homeless people and talk to them and hear their story, man, it is just. I mean, just the guy has an amazing story, and I
Yeah.
can't tell the whole story now because of time. But I will tell you that we have this picture of these people, and it's not the case. I mean, the guy has an amazing story, amazing life. He's homeless, and I was talking to him at the Banquet of Love, and I was trying to convince him. I was saying, hey, I had heard that they opened up the Dallas Convention Center to let the homeless in
Yeah.
because of the cold, the brutal cold that was coming. I was trying to convince him to leave his tent
Hmm.
and to either go there, or we were even housing people in the former strip club just to keep them warm. I mean, I don't want to tell you that we were violating rules, but we were. But uh, but I will tell you that when I would talk to him, he was like, I don't want to leave because I'm afraid that either the city will take my tent away or somebody will steal my tent. And he said, I've got a couple heaters in there. And so this was on a Saturday, and I met Johnny. And then on Sunday, of course, the storm rolled in, and the Holy Spirit just looking at his picture and just staring at him. And I was thinking about the night that he was having, as the brutal, frigid cold came in and the storm came in. And I knew that he was going to try to ride this out. And it's when you meet these people and you really get to know them and you just so I asked for people to pray for Johnny, and we're going to go back out there and see how he's doing. I'm praying. I don't know this for sure. I wish I had an update. I have not had a chance to connect with him yet to make sure that I hope he went into the convention center. I know many did, even though they said they were going to ride it out. They went in to get shelter because it was so cold. But
Yeah.
hey, we got to help. You can't be a believer, right, and just walk to the other side of the street.
It's
You
true.
can't.
So true. That's so true. Well, when you get an update, we want to know how he turned
Yeah.
out.
Absolutely.
Mike, you have dropped some gospel on us this morning with
And
some.
we love
and
it.
We love it. With
Cool.
some super deep questions. So we're going to shift things up now a little bit, and we're going to have a little more fun with our lightning round that we call 5 questions.
5 questions.
All right, let's start off with question number 1. What are you binge watching right now?
Oh, Cobra Kai, believe it or not,
Yes!
You like Cobra Kai?
So
Love
good.
it.
So that was sort of my era. I'm showing my age here, but so when the original Karate Kid came out and that kind of thing, so a lot of the music they play in that, and I know it's a lot of people say that's a little bit corny, but it's my kind of corny.
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed watching that. Yeah.
Oh, I love
That's
that.
been
Us too.
that's a great one. Yes.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
And
Cool.
yep.
Okay, so again, we mentioned earlier you've done everything, and you kind of talked about like what your thoughts are now in life. But if you could have any other job than the one you have right now, what would it be?
You know, maybe just to believe it or not, I think I've got a bit of a pastor's heart. So,
Ah,
just go somewhere and preach the word.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that would probably be the only other thing I'd like to do because I love to study God's word. I love to be in God's word, and
Mm-hmm.
I love to see somebody get it.
Yeah,
I like to see a light bulb go off, and they're like,
Yes.
"Wow, it really is that what it is?" Jesus said the truth will set you free. It's fun when people see it clicks and they go, "Oh, that's what it is.
yeah,
That's what
Yes.
it is."
so true.
Yeah. Very
Awesome.
cool. All right. What is your favorite to go order?
Oh, that's a tough one, isn't it? It sort of depends on the day, but sometimes it's Chipotle, right? Just go in,
Mm.
get one of those bowls
So
that we think is healthy, right? But it's
Yeah,
like,
it's healthy.
3,000 calories. Just throw everything on there, everything.
Some kind of vegetables. How bad could it be?
Yeah, they put it there, and then we think we're making a good choice if we don't put it in a bowl, put wrap, right?
Right.
You put it in the salad or something,
it's
but you're
healthy.
still saying, yeah, throw a little more guacamole, a little more of this, a little more of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that, and I'm an In-N-Out burger guy too.
Oh,
And when I'm trying to be good, I do it protein style, animal style. But most of the
Okay.
time, I need the bun.
oh, the bun is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah,
I like it.
That's good answers.
Making
Making
me
me
hungry.
hungry.
yeah, yeah. Me too.
All right, what are you reading right now?
So I read a lot of stuff. The one I love anything by Michael Hyatt. I don't know if you're
Oh
familiar with
yeah.
Yes.
him, but
Yeah.
yeah, right now I'm actually because we've been in the house so much. I've got my the Vision Driven Leader that
Oh,
I've been
nice.
going through. But the book he wrote a book a few years back, 2016, that sort of changed my life. A friend of mine had given it to me, and what he tells you to do in that book, it's called Living Forwardly, and he challenges you just like you would write a strategic plan for your
Mm.
television show or for for your business, for your ministry, to write a strategic plan for your life
Hmm.
and to literally go through, in other words, write a life plan is what it's
Yep.
called.
Yes.
And I had gone through that process. You're not going to believe how it started. He tells you, this is what he tells you to do. I want you to write your obituary first.
Yeah.
And I want you to see people that you care about and love, about your children, your spouse, what they would say about you. And then he challenges you, is that really what would happen, right? And then you write a life plan to put actions and concrete plans into place so that we're not just drifting. Here's our number one problem in life, and I've noticed this too. When I drift, it's not good, right?
Yeah.
But when I'm very intentional about sticking to what the focus and what the priorities are, and by building a life plan, it really helped me. In
Mm.
2016, when I did this, I saw that, hey, what people would say at my funeral, what I would like them to say, what I would hope that they would say, might not really be the case unless I start to really change some things. So
Sure.
it gave me, and I realized I had to be intentional with my spouse, with my beautiful wife, with my children, with my coworkers, with
Mm.
people, so that one day people would say those things. So I like anything by Michael Hyatt. I am also an NFL junkie. So
Oh.
if I'm not reading books like that, I'm just really trying to figure out who my favorite team is going to draft with the 11th pick. So I'm a pretty simple
Ah.
guy.
So who is your team?
So I grew up in the Jersey area. So I love the Giants. Always loved
Oh.
the New York Giants. Sorry, I know, and especially being in Dallas, I have to deal with it all the time.
I'm sure.
But
Yeah.
I've always, yeah. But I'm
We
very
forgive you.
loyal. I think it's the Italian blood in me. You don't just change teams because you change
Right.
geography. No,
Yeah.
no, no. I've
Stick
I've
with them.
always loved that team. So yeah, I'm either reading a book like that, or I'm just watching a podcast on who they'll draft, or that's sort of my other joy.
That's awesome. That's
Cool.
awesome.
All right. Final question. They decide to make a movie of
Yeah.
your life. So who plays you?
Oh man, that's a good one. You guys come up with really good questions.
Thanks.
So, let's see. Let's pick. Oh, why not Kevin Sorbo? Let's make
There
it
you
Kevin
go.
Ah.
Okay.
He was just part of One Day 2020.
Yeah.
And just like I married up with my wife, I would be acting up too,
Right.
because
Yeah.
who wouldn't want to look like Hercules? Come on.
Exactly.
But it would probably be somebody like Michael J. Fox or somebody if I had to pick somebody more specific.
Yeah, I like Michael J. Fox.
Both are
Those are
good.
both good,
Yeah.
good answers.
I like
yeah.
that.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, this has been a real treat and a pleasure for us. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for taking time out of your schedule to hang out with us.
Yeah, you bet. You guys keep rocking, and we look forward to having you, a part of our evangelistic celebration next
Sounds
year
good.
and beyond.
I love it. I
Okay.
love
Look
it.
forward to it.
Thank you, sir. We'll talk to you
All
soon.
Bye,
Bye.
Mike.
Sounds good.
Well, there you go.
Isn't he amazing?
I love
I mean,
him.
seriously?
I just love him.
Now you know why we love Mike and we'll follow him anyway.
Exactly.
All that he does.
He is just a real treat and a real pleasure
Rock star.
and a super nice guy, as you can tell.
Yep.
Speaking of rock stars,
Ha-ha.
next week we have television personality Sherry Bronson joining us.
Yes.
She again, she's a remarkable woman of God.
Yeah.
She's
Very passionate.
very passionate, very
Love it.
into media, and she's got a lot to say. So,
So be sure to join in next Friday.
Exactly.
Same place, same time.
That's right. Any final thoughts?
That's all I got right now.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we will chat with you next week on Coffee Chat.
Stay safe,
Stay
stay
safe.
warm, and we'll see you next Friday.
Bye.
Bye.